Ladies and gentlemen, today's the day. It's a Spider-Man episode. We're reviewing Brand New Day. All this and so much more on this episode of Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is the one and the only Jake Holtzclaw. Jake, I have so much caffeine coursing through my bloodstream right now. It's kind of insane, yeah. I had a really long day, and so when we get to the pod recording, I'm like slumped in, and I sat down and I chugged like 3/4 a thing of coffee, and now I'm like it's my second. I'm on my runner's high.
Wired.
I'm on my runner's high, but for being social.
Every Monday I think it's gonna be a horrible drag. Like it's around 3:00. Like I hit a wall, and I don't know. I've had 2 cups of coffee and an energy drink in the morning. So I have an energy drink, cup of coffee in the morning, another cup of coffee around that 3:00 mark just to get me through the rest of the day. And it's like every Monday, it's like, oh man, I have a podcast also, and it's like it's gonna be a drag. It's going to be a drag. And then I get there and I'm happy.
Oh, thanks.
But there was one time I was yawning a lot, but that was
a one-off
because I made prior decisions.
He reaped what he sowed.
Yeah, that was 100% my fault. But yeah, so I'm Baja blasted and pissed off you didn't read the sentence you usually do because you wrote it out and I changed it and then you never read it.
No, I know. I did. If you guys
he didn't read it on purpose.
If you guys go and watch back, Jake did kind of look confused at first because I totally went off script. But that's how hype I am, man. There's this running joke for anyone who has worked on the show or been a guest on the show is that I talk about the things we're supposed to talk about in the episode for about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes before we start recording, when I should just hit record and we just go. And that's what we did. And let me tell you, I could not be more excited for what today's main topic of discussion is. As you read from the video title to obviously what I stated at the very beginning, today is Spider-Man Brand New Day review. But before we get there, we always start our episodes with box office. I know you're excited for Spider-Man. We're going to get there in due time. Be patient. We're almost there. We're so close. But let's start with box office, as always. Let's get into the predictions. Let's see how me, Jake, and TJ did from this past week. And as usual, Jake did a fantastic job, and I did less than. I got 3 of 5 correct, as did TJ, as me and TJ predicted the exact same. Both of us predicting Spider-Man at 1, The Odyssey at 2, Toy Story 5 at 3, Moana at 4, and Minions and Monsters at 5. Both of us getting 3 of 5 correct, which usually is a great weekend for any of us. That is until Jake decides to one-up us all and get 5 of 5 correct. I think this is his second or third time getting 5 of 5. After going multiple weeks of 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, Jake continues his hot streak, getting 5 of 5, that 5 being Spider-Man, The Odyssey, Toy Story, Minions, and Moana. Our season totals, as you could see, 58 to Jake, 54 to TJ, 52 to me. We're all still right there. It's still a tight game through, I think this is the 19th week technically that we've been keeping track, 19th week technically, I might have said 9th. We're still right there. Still anybody's game. One good week from one of us, me or TJ, and one bad week from Jake either loses in the lead or gets it all right back into a kind of a shot for anybody. So, Jake, how do you feel?
I will say I'm 6 ahead of Ryan, and all I can say is this:
McQueen's fading. Yeah,
yeah. One bad week of me, sure, but I am now a week out from Ryan. So
listen. A guy likes to take shots in the dark because I want to say I'm right and I'm not. And so I got to eat my losses.
I used to be like that, man.
Oh, so
I got my money up.
You hit me with the "you so naive." I used to be just like that. Just patting me on the head.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Listen, a guy's not afraid to take a guy's not afraid to take a shot. I'm here for entertainment value, daggone it, okay? And I'm wrong, and that's okay. But
and I'm here to win.
Jake's here to win, and I'm the jester in the corner. But no, what we're doing right now, in reality, the game is very close, regardless of how far Jake is ahead right now. Again, one bad week and one decent week from either TJ or I gets us either right back in it down 1, 2, maybe 3, or Jake, you have a bad week and TJ has a great week, you're out of the lead, man. Like, that's how close we are right now.
Oh, please.
So we will see. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get back to the top. Let's tell you the 1 through 5 and break down the numbers. So as you heard, Jake predicted Spider-Man finishes first, The Odyssey second, Toy Story 5 at third, Minions and Monsters fourth, and Moana rounds out our top 5. Let's go back to the top here. We're not going to talk a ton about Spider-Man because we're going to talk a lot about it in the next segment. But the film debuted to $360 million domestically. I did not misspeak, and you did not mishear me. $360 million domestically. That is an all-time record. That beats Endgame's $357 million opening, obviously by $3 million. A record people did not think anyone would touch. Spider-Man, in essentially a solo film, outdoes the entirety of the Avengers, if that doesn't say how popular the IP is. The film overall, worldwide, in 1 weekend, that's 3 days. If you count early screenings, like 4 days, earned $941.7 million. It is a billion-dollar film in a matter of days. 89% on the tomato meter and 98% on the popcorn meter, which we talk about all the time, how rare it is for there to be that much continuity between critics and audiences.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there to say before just getting into the review, Jake?
I think that they did it right. I mean, they spent a lot of money on marketing. Let's not like discount that. A lot of that money it could be, what are we thinking? We thinking the whole domestic run for this weekend alone is what they spent on marketing?
I would say
million?
So I'm looking for the what the production cost was, because usually the rule of thumb is like it's about the same as what it costs to make is what they spend on marketing. So it's like, if the film costs, so for example, just quickly what popped up whenever I typed in production budget for Brand New Day, it says $225 million is the first thing that come across, which is one of the more expensive films we've ever come across. If that's just production alone, usually you can double marketing, so it's another $200 million at least to get it where it needs to go. So you're talking about $500-600 million easily just to get this film in the theaters and hyped up on your phone. It's already earned an extra third on top of that back, and it's going to cross $1 billion before even this weekend. It's probably going to. Are we going to see another $2.3 billion movie?
Good, yeah. I mean, could cross 2, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It might slow a little bit into the 4th and 5th. Depends on what's coming out,
yeah.
later. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Well, we're at a point with these Spider-Man movies. It's very, very close to what it was for Star Wars for so long, where it had to earn $1 billion at least to just be profitable. That's how close the Spider-Man movies are in terms of popularity. For a long time, if Star Wars didn't, especially for Disney after they bought it in 2012, if Star Wars didn't earn $1 billion, it lost money. And that's where we are right now with Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's like, it's odd to think that the film franchises that are in that echelon, the very few, it's Star Wars, it's James Cameron's Avatar, and now it's Spider-Man, is like the films that have to earn essentially $1 billion to make money. So, and the thing is, Spider-Man's really the only one assured to do that of the three in the past 15, 20 years. But before we get into anything further, let's go ahead and move on because we have a lot to discuss in the next segment. Coming in at number 2, again, is The Odyssey in its third weekend in theaters, earning $51 million domestically and pulling its worldwide gross to over $912 million, another billion-dollar film. Both of these films star Tom Holland and Jon Bernthal to some extent.
Is Sadie in it?
I don't think Sadie sings in The Odyssey, no.
No? Okay. I don't think so.
No, Zendaya's not in it either. Is not in it. It's just those two. It's just those two. What a month for Holland and Bernthal. The film is down 43% in ticket sales, which is not really that bad. I mean, it's the worst we've seen yet for Nolan in terms of this release. However, the film's going to crack $1 billion, and it's probably going to break $1.5 billion. It's on track to earn $1.5 billion. Two massive films. One, and the dichotomy of this is really what I like to point out too. Spider-Man is, of course, a blockbuster in and of itself, just in name. Universal treats Nolan like he is the IP. It does not matter what film Nolan's coming out with. It's probably going to get close to $1 billion, and they treat him as such, and he's being rewarded with such. Fans are reacting to that. And I find that fascinating. I wonder if there will be more directors that follow suit to try to, like, it's impossible to be Chris Nolan, but I wonder if we'll see other production houses try to market them like Universal does Nolan, as the director is the IP, and he's just telling his next story.
Zendaya's in the Odyssey. Sorry.
She is in the Odyssey.
Did you say?
So
Yeah,
all
you said
three
that.
of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought
She was
couldn't
Athena.
remember. That's right. I couldn't remember if she was in it or not. So yeah, so we've got three actors who have earned $2 billion movies in 1 month. Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's go ahead and move on down the line. Toy Story 5 in third in its 7th weekend in theaters, earning $6.7 million domestically, only down 38% in ticket sales from the previous week, officially crossing $1.06 billion worldwide. Jake, when was the last time there was a movie in its 7th weekend it was still in the top 3? Because I feel like it was Wicked. There was a movie not long ago that was doing that. I know Sinners last year had a really long box office run. Obviously, Obsession earlier this year, but I feel like Toy Story 5 right now is in a league all of its own. Granted, it's not competing with as many films as the others had been in years prior and months prior. But Toy Story 5, just the little engine that could, keeps chugging along in the top 3 of the box office.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was Wicked. I thought there was something else that stayed around that long.
I really think it was Wicked, like 24, late 24, early 25. Then it was Sinners, spring of 25, throughout the summer. And then it was Obsession this past year. But it's not common for films like that to stick around that long.
And it's not common, like Obsession, to like fight as much as it did.
To grow. If I remember correctly, it was like the only film since Jaws to grow in the weeks like past its debut. Usually films earn the biggest amount in their first weekend, which is nuts. But we're not seeing that from Toy Story 5. However, it is interesting to see it stick around like that. Again, a very few selective films have that opportunity. And of course, it's a Disney and it's a Pixar. Again, 1 week removed from a massive layoff after the film crossed $1 billion last week, but we'll move on. Minions and Monsters comes in fourth in its 5th weekend in theaters, earning $6 million, pushing its worldwide tally to 449.3. And lastly, rounding out the top 5 is Moana, crossing the month mark, earning $5.6 million domestically, and its worldwide total is 261.7. This film will not be profitable in the slightest, so I guess good for them to have Toy Story 5 and Marvel bringing in $1 billion in one weekend, so they can very slyly act like they never made this one and just file it away in the should never have. But we will hold them accountable for at least this week until it drops out of the top 5 and we forget about it in like 2 weeks from now.
At least this week.
At least this week we'll hold them accountable. You, Disney, House of Mouse. Anyway.
Will they learn?
Outside of the top 5? No. Outside of the top 5, Hadestown the Musical drops from, I think it was 3rd last week, to 6th. And that's really the biggest news. So, Jake, before we move on to our predictions, talk to me what you see in the top, or in the just the rest of the box office.
Let me see here. Supergirl, 15th. That's what I see.
Sad.
Obsession just dropped out of top 10. Obsession now sitting at 11th, right above Backrooms. They're now right next to each other, as we saw it in their in the first weeks. Obsession is in its 12th week, and Backrooms is in its 10th. Backrooms having 85 theaters compared to Obsession's 430, and they're making around 200,000 from each other. One's 500,000, one's at 300,000.
Yeah,
that's all there's nothing much more to talk about besides that's pretty much it. Young Washington at 10. Kind of crazy.
These two films, talking about Backrooms and Obsessions, it's like talking about like a rivalry. It's like talking about like LeBron without Steph at this point, right? Like you can't have the conversation in terms of like the legacies, right? Part of LeBron's legacies is losing to Steph. Was it 3 times in the NBA Finals? That hurts his all-time. That hurts his all-time legacy. We're going to talk about this, where Obsessions and Backrooms battle for so long, and they help usher in this new era of creative, this young director, right, with Curry Barker and old Kane Parsons. But something else that's interesting too is the Backrooms. It grew 5% in ticket sales. It's only in 66 theaters, but it earned money this week, which is odd. It sold more tickets this weekend than it had previously. Something that I find fascinating, according to the numbers anyway. It raised. But looking out through the rest, it's more of the same. You have all common characters like The Invite, Evil Dead Burn, 7 and 8, Young Washington, as Jake said, at 10, and so
You can say
on
number
and so
9.
forth. Number 9 is a new film called I Want Your Sex. We're not making it up. And it stars, cast and crew.
Look into the camera.
It stars, I'm hunting for it, Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman as Erica Tracy and Elliot. And the film's synopsis, according to the numbers, is when a fresh-faced Elliot lands an exciting job from renowned artist, icon, and provocateur Erica Tracy, his fantasies come true as Erica traps him to become her muse.
Here.
But Elliot soon finds himself out of his depth as Erica takes him on a journey more profound than he ever could have imagined into a world of finagling, power, obsession, betrayal, and murder.
Somebody say obsession.
Go watch that movie if that's your thing. But anyway, now that that's over, let's get into predictions. Jake, lead the way. Tell us exactly your top 5 and why.
All right, my top 5 predictions for next week's box office. Spider-Man at 1. The Odyssey at 2. One Night Only. New debut, all right. Toy Story 5 at 4. And Super Troopers 3 at 5. Crazy lineup. We're knocking out Moana, Minions and Monsters. And I'm getting a little crazy. Super Troopers 3. I'll let Ryan talk about why he didn't choose that one, but got it at 5.
The thing is, what's annoying is Jake goes, I'll give you points this week, Ryan. Don't worry. And I looked at his top 5
giving
and
to
I'm like,
charity.
That could still win. Like that's not giving to charity. That's just, whatever. And I'll be so annoyed if you get another 5 out of 5 with that. But
I cut a hole in my pocket in hopes that a $100 bill would fall out for you, Ryan. I'm not going to say it will.
And if all that falls out is a nickel, you're going to see the anger. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be, that's all I'll say. It's going to be interesting. Come back next week to see. Anyway, my top 5 includes Spider-Man Brand New Day at 1, The Odyssey at 2, and I also had One Night Only at 3. I've seen a lot of marketing for this one. It's got Callum Turner in it. It's got Monica Barbaro, excuse me. It seems like it'll be like just a nice film for the rom-com audience. It seems like it's something that people will enjoy. It's meant to be raunchy. The whole premise is like single people have one night out of the year to get with someone else. That's the whole point. And you have this sweet love story in the middle of all that, kind of the fiasco of that night where people are falling over each other and whatnot. You have these two nice people who want something more than that just one intimate moment. And it does look very sweet, and it stars people that I feel like will pull in a crowd that are hungry for that type of film, because we've not seen a rom-com like that in the mainstream, in the audience. How long? It's not been since earlier this year. It's been a while since one of these films has kind of entered the cultural zeitgeist. And I think that this one will be the one to, at least for 1 week, it could cross more than 7 million and take that third spot, just because I don't think there's anything else, even Super Troopers. Mainly because Super Troopers, the marketing for that has been terrible. I didn't even know there was a third Super Troopers coming out this year until like 2 weeks ago. But with that out of the way, the rest of my top 5, again, is Spider-Man Brand New Day at 1, The Odyssey at 2, One Night Only at 3. I have Toy Story 5 at 4, same as Jake. And then I just have Minions. I mean, I just dropped everything down. It's a super easy, just 1 through 5. Drop Moana.
Lazy, you mean?
I just feel like that's what's going to happen. I just don't think that with Super Troopers getting the marketing it had, there's a good chance it does crack the top 5. But I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable having a film that I didn't see any marketing for, at least very little marketing for. Like, no one's even talking about Super Troopers 3. Like, that's kind of the thing.
About it.
Well, Jake's talking about it. I've not seen anyone talk about it until we got into this call. So
sounds like we're talking about it.
Not until we got into this call, and it drops in 4 days. So I'm gonna give Minions and Monsters the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna put it 5th, drop Toy Story down with Minions, and put One Night Only at 3, with the obvious retain as Brand New Day and The Odyssey at 1 and 2. Now, Jake, what did TJ predict? What did the bot tell us?
Oh, the bot with the infinite knowledge of the internet decided that Spider-Man was going to take 1, The Odyssey was going to take 2, and One Night Only at 3. Same as us. To be fair. And then Super Troopers 3 at 4, and a new one, Ice Cream Man at 5, which is, let's see here, Ryan. It's a horror, I believe. Correct?
It's
Iconic
got okay.
Releasing. What's up?
It doesn't have, like, Eli Roth directed with a screenplay by Noah Belson. It stars Ari Millen, or I think, it's Millen or Milan, as the Ice Cream Man, with a synopsis from the numbers as, quote, an idyllic summer town descends into madness when an ice cream man serves kids sweet delights with horrifying results. What is it on? What are we doing, TJ? Where are we going with this?
Gonna get it.
No, this is not.
Maybe.
Come on.
Good, man. It could go crazy.
How many theaters?
So, like,
it says just as wide.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is it's wide could just mean 600 theaters, which is like relatively small.
Are we thinking it turns the kids into like that one movie?
Zombies or whatever, like Mind Control?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like Mind Control, like that one movie with Aunt Gladys.
Oh, like weapons?
It'd be like weapons, but they have to eat ice cream first.
I don't know. That'd be pretty funny if it was just a one-for-one ripoff of Weapons, but instead of Aunt Gladys doing her occult practices, it's just a dude selling ice cream.
Yeah.
They all disappeared from your classroom, and it's just a dude in an ice cream man costume. What?
They got the sprinkles. Hey, but you do know who's in this? You do know who is in this?
Who's in that?
Dutch Vanderlyn.
No.
Benjamin Byron Davis himself is in this movie.
I was wrong. This is gonna break the top 2. Actually, it's gonna pull
banger.
It's gonna push the Odyssey out of 2.
Yep.
I hold my ground. Well, this would be the funniest thing if TJ's won 5 out of 5. If it wins the weekend, I'm gonna cry. What did it know? What did it know that we didn't? Eli Roth's Ice Cream Man finishes 5th. I'm sorry, but I think 3 points coming to one of us. I think this is going to be a bad week for TJ, which means I might slip into 2nd, which I will happily take. Jake, anything else from the box office that we want to tell the great people about?
It doesn't even know why it chose that.
Dylan says it's a remake from a 1995 movie.
Yeah. You have to be old enough to remember that. I'm kidding.
Well, with that out of the way, if you want to know who Dylan is, stick around because coming up next, we review Spider-Man Brand New Day. We will be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You've made it to segment 2, which is always our major news segment. Some weeks we have one story, some weeks we have 2, and others we just throw the news out the window and review the latest and greatest from Hollywood, California, and wherever films are produced. This week, we're talking about the latest from Marvel. Just when you think you're out, just when you think it's done and they should stop, they release something that crosses the $1 billion mark in less than a week, and you're right back in it, and you cannot stop it. It's just inevitable. Death, taxes, and Marvel creating a cash cow. That is the way of life. But to help us discuss everything, before we get into the spoiler-free review, let us introduce the aforementioned Dylan Travis. Dylan, join us. How are you, Dylan? Introduce yourself and tell the people just a little bit about who you are.
Hi, I'm Dylan. Obviously, just know Ryan from college as well as Jake. Worked with both of them a little bit here and there, but I run a fishing YouTube channel and just work in the sports world pretty much.
Bro's like, we worked here and there as if me and him didn't work together for like 60 hours a week for like a year and a half.
Yeah. And he was my boss for like a few hours.
Yes. Bro was like my boss every day. But
just for a little bit.
Just a little bit. But no, Dylan is the man. Okay. And I say that, and I know that sounds really cliche, but he could talk about anything and everything, and especially about Marvel, but he is just a pro's pro, knows as much about the film industry and about the media as a whole industry, as a business. And you have forgotten more than most people will ever learn when it comes to this business. And so there's not anyone better in my mind, to come on this show and to help us break down what we saw from this past weekend and the opening weekend of Brand New Day. So thank you for joining us. And let's go ahead and get into it. We always start our reviews with, again, a spoiler-free. We want to make sure for those who haven't watched it, we're lucky enough to watch our show, have some of the main news and have a little bit of content before we tell them to leave, which is the funniest thing. Like, hey, just get out of here.
Actually, don't watch this.
Yeah, you cannot watch the rest of this. I'm sorry. But we will give you that grace if you haven't seen it. It's only been out for a handful of days. We want to make sure you get our opinions as kind of raw and as removed from spoilers as we can. But let's go ahead and do that for those who haven't seen it yet. So for kind of the story a little bit, for those who haven't seen it yet, following the events of No Way Home, we follow a street-level Spidey after 4 years of crime fighting, fine-tuning, and relationship building. New York is safe, classic Spider-Man villains are behind bars, and the city is in love with their red and blue-clawed superhero. All without the world knowing the man, Peter Parker, even exists. Then a mysterious new opponent attacks the deepest parts of Peter's personality, while a growing mutation threatens to topple everything Spider-Man stands for from the inside out. That is as deep of a non-spoiler review as I can give. Quick 3 sentences to let you guys know kind of what goes on. Dylan, I'm going to start with you as the guest. We give you first dibs at the table here. Without spoiling, give us a little bit about what you thought.
I mean, overall, it's a pretty good film, in my opinion. I think as far as a ground level Spider-Man, it does pretty well in that regard. I think some people are going to be disappointed because it's not like No Way Home. It's not at that level. It's a little more grounded, but I think this one, it handles a lot of deeper topics and deeper tones, which I kind of like. So I think it's going to do well. Obviously it's already doing well. It's about to pass $1 billion, but I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's top tier on my list yet. I need to get another watch on it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of the common denominator in everyone's opinion, whether they think it's an amazing film or they think it was lacking, is that it's somewhere in the middle of all of the greatest to worst. If you were to rank them, it's not quite near the front, but it's closer to the front than some of the worst. Jake, what do you think? Building off that idea.
Understanding that this film went through some kind of they don't let you know it, but production hell. This, believe it or not, had so many different storylines that just went completely untold and they didn't touch it. And partly because of Tom Holland's grace, and we want to thank him for that, because this film is so good with what they shipped is good. What they were going to ship, believe it or not, didn't even pass Tom Holland's critique. So, and the test audiences loved it. So that was the weird part. But they kind of pieced together the story that we did see, and I could tell that. Now, unfortunately, I knew that going in, so I didn't find that out afterwards. So I was looking for it, but there were things that were just kind of odd, and I don't even think that Sadie Sink's character was even supposed to be the main villain. I mean, maybe she wasn't, maybe she was at the end, but I'm pretty sure that there was supposed to be even somebody else. And I don't know if it was supposed to be, Mr. Negative or someone we've never seen before, but I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be another person. And I'm going to do some research and find that out for the spoiler review. But
yeah, there are, depending on what sources you believe and don't believe, there is a narrative floating around on the internet that what happened was they filmed it, they showed it to test audiences, they liked it, but they had notes, and they tried to change every little detail that the fans wanted. And when they showed it to their stars, to Zendaya, to Tom Holland, to Jacob, apparently they just didn't like it. They were like, this is not what we wanted to this film to be. And from the original cut to the fan cut afterwards, or I guess the fan inspired cut, they did have these various stall and starts, these hey, let's reorganize this and go again. To where it does kind of feel not jostled together at points, but there are points where you're like, oh, I can see where it was going this way, and then they decided to pivot, but it didn't necessarily hurt it. Dylan, what do you think? Like from that perspective, with your kind of your take on the film as a whole, you might have heard that before, or that maybe this is just simply a reminder. With that in mind, does that change your perspective on the film at all?
I mean, slightly, but like it's just there is some moments in there that's very like I don't know, it almost feels rushed or like it's very easy to read. Like we were talking about with the well, I don't want to spoil anything yet, but like there's a couple of moments it's just like very nail on the head. Like I know exactly what you're going for. Is very gotcha moments or like almost forced kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I can agree with that. And if you ask me, so this is going to be the end of our spoiler free because we're all kind of like biting our tongue, trying not to say something as we're getting through the remainder of this spoiler free review. Personally, regardless of all those issues, and if for anything, with those pointed out, I feel like for me that stands the testament to the sheer willpower of the creators and of its stars to get it to become what it was. Because in terms of a follow up to No Way Home, I feel like it was perfect. Not because it's a perfect film. I want to put that out there. It is not a perfect film. It has a lot of issues, but it's what it needed to be as an advancement of the character of Peter Parker in Spider-Man. And note how I mark them separately when you go and watch it. Just that's a common theme. The characters of each of them together is just, it's progressed in a way that is satisfying, progressed in a way that makes sense. And I liked, there are things that they introduced in this film that I know will be the center point of future MCU projects. And they did it in a way that leaves me like, not like, well, where'd they come from? But more like, I can't wait to hear more about them. And so for me, this is somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to say it's anywhere near one of the best Spider-Man films, but it's a good Spider-Man film. And for when it's coming out, for what it's coming from and where it's trying to point you to, it's a perfect gap film. It is a perfect filler film in between these story arcs as it progresses you into Doomsday, into Secret Wars, and into the Spider-Man 5 that will potentially and more than likely be coming out. So with that out of the way, this is your warning right now. This is your warning for spoiler-free viewers. Please watch this back when you go and watch it tomorrow at Cinemark. They have the $6 tickets. Go watch it tomorrow and then come back and hear our review because we're going to be waiting for you because we love you just as much as our friends who watched it during the opening.
You need a reason to go watch it.
Not a doctored image, by the way. That's
actually happened.
Just so you know, I was there. It did happen. But this is your warning because I'm counting down from 5. You have to pause the video. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're in spoiler zone. Okay, we're going to talk about the story. This mysterious villain, for those who are still here who haven't watched it, and for those who have, it's Jean Grey. The mutants have been introduced. And something immediately I want to hop into is like we'll talk about Spider-Man and kind of like what he became culturally to this version of New York, because I think that's fascinating, especially with Dylan. You talked about, sorry, I have friends named Dalton who I talk to regularly. I apologize. Dylan, we talked about how his relationship with the Punisher and the series didn't quite cross the gap from TV show into movie with some of the things that happened with the Punisher recently. But Jean Grey's powers represent very interesting. It's in a way that is so unique to the MCU. Let's talk about it, Dylan. Hit me up with what you thought about some of her limitations specifically.
Yeah, like the 33-foot thing was really interesting. Obviously, there were some good scenes, specifically with Bernthal and Sadie in the movie. That was very intriguing. And then just, I guess it was to give her a way to kind of power scale throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I liked it though. I mean, I thought it worked out pretty well. And then obviously playing off of the sister thing and just kind of building into that, it works for me at least. It works.
Most definitely. And just to clarify and make sure that it's on everyone's head, the 33 feet, Jean Grey, as a telepath, cannot jump into the minds of people beyond 33 feet unless she's in somebody already. So she can be beyond 33 feet, but if she's not in the mind of somebody close within that 33 feet distance, she's not going to be able to make the jump. At least she wasn't able to originally. And Damage Control has her sister, and that's her whole thing, which didn't quite justify some of her actions, specifically when it comes to a certain diabolical scene. Hold her, Peter. I know you've wanted to for so long. Which, in its own right was a little corny. But can she be? Is there a way to reconcile with audiences? Talking to Jake specifically, think about what she did. Diabolical is just the
Right.
word. She was a villain of like in the classic terms, just being mean to be mean. Do the ends justify the means? And as someone who's going to kind of lead the X-Men moving forward, someone that's going to be a central character for a long time for the future of the MCU, this is supposed to be a hero. And she's being represented in this first outing as this villain doing things that we might not be able to forgive. Is that a smart move?
I fully expected old cue ball to roll in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I expected Professor X to just wheel in and put a stop to it, and it wasn't like in the I guess the glass scene or whatever, and before Aunt May saved the day. Actually, I fully expected Professor X to roll in, and so I thought we were just going to get full X-Men right into the nit and gritty, but I don't think so. I think this is they were literally playing with strangers in a park and not having any recourse or feeling bad about. I mean, they're full on whipping these people by jumping from mine to mine, which is crazy. I think that's one of the funniest parts of how Spider-Man can kind of track where I think you don't need a spider sense to really know where she jumped from and where she ended up, within those 33 feet. Like I can see 33 feet in front of me, and I can see people like falling over and seizing as they go along. Like I don't need a spider sense to tell that, nor do I need an AI to do that. So.
Right. You can see me, and it's literally a line of people who have collapsed just in the middle of the street.
And then killing a guy, just walking out into the street, killing a guy straight up. He's an elderly man who got hit by a taxi going, at least 10 to 15 miles an hour. That guy is critical condition, if not dead. And then actively jumping off buildings and other people's bodies as well. To lead the X-Men, you've got to be some kind of human rights activist for a good 10 years for me to feel any kind of sympathy towards the situation.
Yeah, Dylan, I'm going to come back to you because I could see you have a thought, but I want to pose this because we talked a little bit about this before the recording. If anything, just to play devil's advocate, does this give Jean a potential for growth as a character to where it's like we saw where she began as almost a villain, right? So when she's found, which by the way, I can only imagine that conversation goes something like this is like, Charles Xavier's like, I'm Charles Xavier. And he rolls in and Jean's like, how'd you find me? And he stops and he looks at her and goes, you froze a kilometer of New York and almost killed Spider-Man. You were the easiest one to find. It's like he's like, you idiot. Yeah, I found you. And so anyway, but going back to the original point, I feel like this is going to be when we watch back in 5 years and she's kind of had some of that, like, I'm a hero now, and she's defending these innocents, right? Do we think that will be satisfying to have seen her growth? Or again, do we think that she's just irredeemable?
Maybe. What if they just like throw a full curveball and she's just straight up a villain? But like
Dark Phoenix,
I mean, maybe, but I feel like that's too recent for them to do. So I don't know. I think it worked pretty good with like Scarlet Witch back in the day because obviously she started with as a villain in Ultron, and then we built her up as like a good character, and then tore her down as Scarlet Witch later on. So maybe they do that, and they do Dark Phoenix in a decade, after. Mm-hmm. Because Secret Wars is probably going to be where everything changes anyway. So it's really hard to really tell what 5 years is going to be like right now in Marvel. So
I love too that she like the way that the story resolved. And this is it goes in both, like I did enjoy it because for me, stories are all about payoff. It's like, okay, what are you building up to and how do we resolve? It's like filling up a balloon and then popping it. It's like, how are we releasing that air? And while I did like it, I also thought it was hilarious that all it took was a pep talk from Peter's dead aunt, and that solved the problem. Like it was just over. She literally just needed a pep talk, and it was over. And I guess for someone to take a bullet for her, and it was just over. But yeah, I do wonder, do you feel like that satisfaction was sticking with you, Dylan? Do you feel like you were satisfied with the resolution of the film after all she did, after Spider-Man kind of discovering who he is? We've not even gotten into the mutation part yet. We'll get into that after this. But we're talking about the payoff right now. Do you feel like that was satisfactory for your viewing experience?
I mean, for me, yes. For like the general like viewing experience of like a general MCU fans, probably not as much because it wasn't as grandiose. And I feel like it's kind of been a running theme as of recent. They've had a lot of like talk the big bad off the mountain type stuff, and this one was another one like that. And obviously, they used Aunt May to do that, and it was also, bringing back kind of like the with great power comes great responsibility as well. So there's all that kind of going in. So it's a little forced. That's one of the things I was kind of talking about in the spoiler free part. But I mean, it hit the marks good enough, and I really enjoyed the actual acting towards the end and him taking the bullet for her and saving her and building that rapport with her. And I think that is going to be hopefully what sways her to the good side. But it is hard to, after seeing what she did in the film and seeing that kind of payoff, it's hard to like root for Jean in it. But we'll kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, I feel like they did hype up this big villain, but I feel like some of that too could have come from just social media trying to have a follow up to No Way Home. So it's like when you go back and you think about it, it's like how much of it was actually Marvel and how much of it was just the internet thinking it's going to be another No Way Home. Because I mean, it's hard to follow up Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe. Like that's tough, right? However, I do feel like there was a moment missed where you could have really had damage control be like, think about where we are as a country. Like everyone's in discourse about any government agency, whatever you believe. Everyone's talking about government, and they're like, ah. I feel like this was your opportunity to capitalize on that and make it feel like it hits home in some way, regardless of how you feel. It's like this government agency, they're not just lying to me, but they are the villain, right? Damage control, they lied. They killed Sarah. VMAX, the whole nine. The whole reason this story got like the catalyst for the whole story is that they kidnapped a young girl and used her as an experiment until she died and then lied about it. There's a level of sliminess to that I just feel like was completely missed. Because if you harp on that, if you focus on that, and that's the main villain, which I feel like was the goal, but because they wanted to focus on, oh, look, the mutants, and oh, look, Tom Holland, black eyes, I feel like they completely overshadowed the actual villain in the movie. Jake, what do you think?
The villain was originally there were I think there were two. One was somebody I've never heard about, Paste Pot Pete, aka Trapster.
Okay.
Don't know. He was on the cutting room floor. And then there was this one is the one I actually heard, Leper Queen. It was an anti-mutant activist who I believe is connected to Jean Grey, or a mutant was a child of theirs and ended up burning a house down or something like that and just disfiguring her. And then she became an anti-mutant activist that did some evil stuff. And that was originally the main villain, which she was then swapped out for Bill Metzger of Damage Control, which is why it kind of feels odd that they built Damage Control up. Well, it was originally supposed to be an anti-mutant person, but Damage Control took the place.
It's like, because we talk about there are certain things that are on the nose, and Jake, I want you to take this again, because I hate to keep taking the reins from you, but you just reminded me of something, and I want to talk about this. What I do love about the Jean Grey arc is that it puts into perspective that throughout the MCU, mutants have always existed. They just haven't been in the spotlight because of X, Y, and Z. They've been in hiding. People didn't really know who they were. They're new to superheroes, X, Y, or Z, whatever. Right now, they're kind of getting their moment. But also the reason, what works for it is you have this moment where you're seeing the mutants versus like just fighting for their own rights type of thing, right? You're pitting already the Magneto ideology versus the Charles Xavier right now. Because what we've seen with Sarah, when you get Magneto arguing his point, like, we should fight back. Like, they're not going to let us live because we're different, so we should fight back. Versus Charles, who is like diplomacy. Like, we're going to take losses, but diplomacy, right? Well, that's already there. Like, you can already make that argument now because of what Jean Grey and her sister went through. And I think that's brilliant because you've already established, you kind of set the stage already for what comes next, which I think is fantastic. However, as I said before, we've been on the nose with so many things, right? Like with Spider-Man's mutation, being all cheeky in certain like aspects and other elements. But the thing that really gets me is that they didn't outright say they were anti-mutant. They didn't outright say how they found these people, why these people were the ones they're experimenting on, other than they have abilities. I almost wanted Damage Control to make this point to be like, could you imagine if Metzger was just like, hey, these metahumans, these mutants exist and they can be weapons. I know they kind of sort of hinted at that with the Hand, and they hinted at that with the other villains that they had like converted to being their security essentially. But wouldn't that have just been so grandiose of a true way, a really grand way to introduce the mutants is this guy, this main villain of this government agency. He's like, yeah, we know they exist and we don't care. Like, that's fine. Their only existence is for us to have weaponry. That would have been like that again, would have painted them as the villains that I think there was an attempt to have them painted as, but then it would have again really set the stage, and there's no beating around the bush. You have it and it is just straight evil. Jake, what do you think about that? And as you continue your thoughts about the main villain and what the Damage Control was.
I think that it was kind of one of those like we don't really ever figure out what he was talking about in terms of using Jean Grey's telepathy and telekinesis for. He was just like, oh, think about what this power could be used for in the right hands. And I was like, okay, but like, what is he talking about?
We're gonna put it in someone else. Like that's it. That's literally all they said. Yeah.
And then, but the implications of like the Spider-Man technology as well, him creating that for himself, but low-key starting the idea of like the Sentinels. And so they've had that kind of technology from Stark, but not necessarily in a gene or a like RNA gene type of way. And so Spider-Man basically just made it, that big. Now, his tech means that most mutants with hardened skin can't have it, but Damage Control already has like those blueprints. And now that somebody else has gone through all the documents for Damage Control, like Yelena and other, I would assume, organizations, people have access to that tech now. So it's only a matter of time. Like you said, we're ramping up the mutants. It's all there. It's all ready. We're, putting muzzles on these dogs. It's all, the next one will be probably touch on it heavy.
And that's another great point is the inhibitor. Like you have the justification for the mutant wars and the mutant fighting back with the inhibitor, which is kind of like a last stand, an X-Men last stand where they found the cure. And that's like why they're fighting back. Like you're taking that, but you're doing that in a way that I think makes more sense. Stop beating around the bush. Just say that's what it is. I think that's the one thing that I would change majorly. But Dylan, I can see you have some thoughts. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that it's going to really play a big part, especially in Secret Wars with the mutants, and just being a way to control them or just suppress their powers. I think we're going to see a lot of that. And it also shows how much more intelligent Spider-Man has become over the last 4 years, being able to create this technology.
Yeah. So with that, we're talking about the future. And Dill, I'm very curious your perspective on this. Like, we have the stage being set. We have the technology being introduced. The mutants have their justification for everything that's about to unfold. We can see the road in front of us. What do you want to see when the MCU is overtaken center stage by the X-Men in the mutant saga?
It's so hard. It's so hard to really predict any of it. I don't know. There's so many good castings. Obviously, I think some callbacks are needed. We can keep those to a minimum because obviously the MCU is full of them. But I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I enjoyed, Fantastic Four. I thought that was, good, like kind of, getting into the Fox world of things. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But we're going to really, really get to figure a lot out with Doomsday and probably get a lot of recasting after Doomsday because we're probably going to kill off quite a few, I'd say.
Most definitely. I think the biggest thing, and like, I'm not going to talk grand story because there's just so many different directions. Like, I'm excited for what they've got laid out. Like I said at the beginning, Death, Taxes, and Marvel doing something to create a cash cow because I'm now interested again. But if there are little things I want to see Scott Summers being a bad mama. I want to see him being just a dude like he should be. The Fox, it's overstated at this point, but they made him a little wimp. And I want my Scott Summers. I want my guy to be the toughest person that's ever existed because he's the leader for a reason. And I'm so excited for that to be explored. But the biggest thing and the biggest reason is they've laid out the justifications for everything. And I've been hinting at this for a while. Before we get into back to this film, because I do want to talk about, there are a few more talking points I want to get through before we move on from Spider-Man. I want Magneto to be the most like complicated character ever. Like beyond Thanos, not because he's complicated and he's hard to understand, because you get exactly what he means. It's not just Thanos saying, well, the world, like all of the galaxy would be saved if half of the population would go away. It's like, why did, like in the movie, the question's like, why didn't he just grow more food? And it's like, oh yeah, I guess he could have done that. And it's like obviously it's like you get what he's trying to do, but there's all these workarounds. I want Magneto to be like, I don't want to do this, but I have to because we will not survive. Even if it is in exact opposition to Charles's perspective, that perfect balance in that complicated character study, that's what I want. I want to see that in the worst possible way because that's the whole point of the relationship is they're two sides of the same coin. They want the same thing, but they believe in different ways to get there. Charles and Magneto. And I need that. I don't need just like, I love Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen is the greatest Magneto that's ever existed. But his character in Fox really was just evil. Like when you go back and look at it, like even when they presented his justifications, you could have been like, yeah, I see that. But then he's like ripping the iron out of people's bloodstreams and using it as like metal sheaths to like break out of this not glass, but like plastic box. And it's like, that's just evil, dog. Like that's like, there's no like exactly what we're talking about. Jean Grey is like, you didn't have to do that to my boy. Like, but he did. And so, or she did in this film. And so it's like, it makes it hard to justify later. I don't want that. I want to see that really like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to, because if I don't, you will kill me. Like, it's like, if I don't, you will. Cause like, I love that barrel of a gun type of perspective on that character. Cause that makes it a lot more interesting. But going back to Spider-Man, we've talked a lot about Jean Grey. We've talked a lot about the mutants, but its central character had a lot going on as well. So we're going to stay here with Dylan. The mutation aspect of the whole thing that gets him building the inhibitor, that progresses the story to catching Jean Grey. What do we think about the tease of the man spider and the arachnid DNA overtaking in our boy Peter Parker?
It was a lot more underdone than I expected. I thought we were going to get a little more towards man spider. I understand why they didn't go that way, and it makes a lot of sense as to why. And I thought what they did was pretty good. It advanced his abilities a little bit as well. Shown him going over the deep end a little bit with the fight with Scorpion, who wasn't actually Scorpion in the middle of the fight. I thought it was pretty good. Well done. The "I'm both" line at the end of the movie was kind of corny, but no, I thought it was done mostly well.
Yeah, Jake, you definitely agree with his corny take with the "I am both." I can see you shaking your head. Tell me why.
I think you could have, I don't know, said it differently, maybe. Like, yeah, like I could see it coming, and sure, like he can respond to that with, but like both. I don't know.
Yeah, like I get what you're saying.
Could have just said both, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just the one word, maybe. I don't know. When I was sitting there, I was like, he's gonna say it, and it's gonna be so freaking corny. And then he says it, and I'm like, I knew it. You know, like there's no other way to. And is it one of those things where you just bite the bullet? And I don't know. I think of it as an editor, and I'm sitting there and watching it, and I'm like, could we have not, like, I don't know, shot that again?
Yeah.
Or got
it's almost like the enunciation too, like the way he actually says it. I don't know.
I think Tom knew.
Yeah,
it was corny. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, he's embellishing it like even more.
I think what doesn't help is that Tom also is very boyish. So it comes across.
He's the most manly guy I know.
No, we're not getting back into the 007 conversation. I refuse to allow us to go down that route. Tom Holland is a boyish man. I'm sorry. Like he's got more wealth than I'll ever have, and he's got like, and I can respect him as a human. I think it's
jealousy.
But maybe. But bro is boyish. And I think that doesn't help the point you're making, though, is because you know the line's coming. It's corny from the get. But instead of him coming out with this like gravelly, like really like, I know it's corny, but I don't care, it's both. He's like, both. It's
I don't
like,
think Frank Castle could have said it and it would have been any less corny.
let me tell you something. I'm both. He just that's what
The pursuit of knowledge, the pursuit and what is it? Yeah, the pursuit of knowledge and letting people know things too. He
yeah.
wants to acquire and distribute knowledge.
Let me tell
Frank
you
Castle.
something. Hey,
Actually,
that-
John
just
in general, Jon
Bernthal. He swears it's in every script, but I doubt it. I think he's just
I think he
ad-libbing
says
and he doesn't realize he's ad-libbing.
He does it
And
all the time.
he takes
Yes.
a nap. He takes a nap in this movie too.
Oh, I know. That was awesome.
And we're on to you, Jon Bernthal. But
Liar.
He has some of the best moments in the whole movie, though.
he steals the show. But before we get to that, because literally I want to talk a little bit about Spider-Man, then I want to talk about some of these side characters that had their moments, because I argue the side characters had better moments than the main characters in this whole movie.
Yeah.
It just goes back to like, just hard commit to all these things, because the thing is, when you kind of sell like Man Spider, like that's hard to not fully fulfill, because then you just feel kind of that lack of satisfaction, right? So, for example, I was reading, now again, I read all the time and I don't always verify. So this could just be something online that I saw, but apparently there was a Man Spider appearance that was supposed to have been in the Daydream when he is first passing out after seeing MJ make out with her new man. He goes back to his apartment, and when he gets in there, he's having that moment where the high stress and the emotional response is triggering the arachnid DNA to overtake the human DNA. He collapses and he wakes up in a giant kind of like cocoon of web, right? Originally, and a big apparently, because I didn't confirm this, but I had read it online, that moment was supposed to have him dreaming of Man Spider. You were supposed to see Tom Holland as Man Spider, and he was supposed to wake up and be like, oh, like he was supposed to have that moment. And it's a lot like Sam Raimi when he cut the moment from Venom in Spider-Man 3, where it was supposed to be this terrifying human-teethed Venom when he looks in the mirror, and that would have made the movie. Like, that would have been perfect. This is another one of those where I'm just like, why not? Like, you're hinting at Man Spider this whole movie. He doesn't have to turn into Man Spider, but do you know how satisfying it would have been to see what he could be? Like, this is what he's fighting against. If he doesn't get a hold of it, if he doesn't create the inhibitor, if he doesn't find a way to mesh the two, Spider-Man and Peter, that's what he could be. And if that really did make this hit the cutting room floor because it's too scary for our general audience, BS, dude. Like, just like it goes back to the mutants. It goes back to the villain. It goes back to everything. Stop half committing to your points. Just go. I don't care if it's a 3-hour movie. No one else cares if it's a 3-hour movie. It still would have made the same. Just do it. That's my only gripe. Because again, I think this film was a really good film. It is a perfect follow-up. However, my gripes are they didn't commit to their own bits. They introduced an idea and they're like, we're gonna slowly move away.
It could have been this Man Spider.
Sure.
It's just all spiders.
Could you dude, you know how funny that would be? Is like, who's the man behind the mask? And it's just one spider that's like, unlike a horde of other spiders. Huh? That'd be so funny, dude. But no, it's just I'm not going to get back on my soapbox, but that is genuinely like how I feel about it. Is I wish they would have committed harder, because I like the mutation aspect. Because again, I do think it's a little on the nose that he all of a sudden, after meeting Tobey Maguire, he then all of a sudden has natty web slinging. I do think that's a little on the nose, but I like that his body with his DNA with the mutation is constantly evolving, because that would make sense for someone with his powers. And I love how he had that reconnection with Bruce Banner. But speaking of Bruce Banner, this is where we get into the real fun moments of this story. You brought up Punisher, Dylan. Tell me about your thoughts about our side characters.
Well, Bruce was interesting. I mean, honestly, it was kind of fun to see like Rage Hulk a little bit and actually see him be that, because we haven't seen that since Ultron, I guess, right?
I think technically Ragnarok, because that was when he was Hulk, but Hulk was very much in control of his
decade
own.
ago.
Yeah, but still like that long ago, which is crazy. I was still in college. But like that was very fun and enjoyable. And he had some good moments. Obviously, Punisher I love Jon Bernthal anyway, but like he just had some of the best moments. The scene where, that right there. It's the most Jon Bernthal thing. It's the most Jon
Just
Bernthal
kept screaming
thing that I've ever seen.
Let's
I
be
love
real.
that.
How long do you think they let him go doing that? Do you think they just sat behind the camera? I would have.
They just let him. They just let him
dude.
hit that.
I would.
Yeah.
Dude, I would never have called cut on that. I just would have been like, keep going, man.
Yeah,
We're going.
there's gonna be an extended cut that comes out in a few years. It's gonna be like 5 minutes.
That's dude. It's little moments like that, man. Like it's just like it just makes the movie. These side characters make the movie.
That made me audibly laugh so loud in the theater.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've seen a lot of people with specifically in regards to Punisher because I do want to get back to the Hulk because I have a very strong opinion about like how he's been represented, as does everybody. But it takes these moments to understand that like people react differently to different individuals. Because I've seen a lot of people online saying like, "Why does he treat Daredevil like this? Why did he treat Daredevil like this?" It's like because Daredevil is the same age as him, who just outright says, "I'm going to stop you," and they fight, right? Like it's a different relationship where Peter's like a kid. I was having this conversation with I went to the theaters with my brother and we were talking about this. Is like Peter is like a young kid to him. He might have been 19 when they first met, and they fought alongside each other. Yes, they disagree, but you can tell that when they have their interactions, Frank doesn't want to hurt him. Frank wants to, like, he sees the innocence in him and he understands the righteousness of his goals, right? Whereas with Daredevil's a lot like him. Daredevil, he has got a very morally skewed code of ethics that it's like, it's to the point where it's almost similar to Batman, where it's like, you do all but kill, dude. Like, you might not kill, but you put people in the hospital as a paraplegic for the rest of their life. Like,
and then he walks around.
Yeah.
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 I don't kill people.
Right.
Like,
And I feel like because of that difference, like beyond just the respect for he's a young kid and like I know he's a good kid, I feel like it's also like you could see that there's more respect for the ethics because Spider-Man straight up he doesn't harm people to put them in a hospital bed for the rest of their life. He like Daredevil will. And I'm curious if you guys agree with that because that's a big piece of discourse is how different he acts in each piece of media he's in as Frank Castle. But I argue, do you talk to people the same way, every person that you meet? No, you don't. And I think that we're seeing that in real time with Punisher as well.
That, and it's just like, it's also an actual like movie versus like the Harden show that was a Netflix original, obviously, which that skews it a little bit, I think, as well. But it doesn't mean that we can't lead back into the more like just in-depth Frank Castle that's killing. Because like the last kill is very graphic too.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll get more of that Frank. But it's good that he can kind of play like a comedic role a little bit too, but still hold himself like together.
Yeah. Jake, what you think?
I think back to my high school days where I knew some guys who were like die hard. They were into Punisher. They were into like these hardcore figures. And I don't know. I don't think that they would like this Punisher because he's not who they grew up reading and knowing as this hardcore guy who's now the comedic relief. But I think that if you're on the pendulum, I think you can be satisfied if you're in the middle, or if you're like, oh yeah, I really love comedic relief Punisher. But you can also be in the middle where it's like he held his own. I mean, he was shooting the Hulk, which granted shouldn't have been as successful as it was.
Him shooting the Hulk, going ah,
yeah, just screaming.
That's so good, man.
So I don't know. Like you can say that he went in not necessarily knowing the Hulk would be there, but also still not necessarily running
he's
either.
Like, what the heck am I looking at?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think if you're in the middle or even on the very far side of comedic relief Punisher, you can be happy that I guess they're doing him this way because he still is a badass, for lack of a better word. It's just maybe not like the super hardcore version.
Why can't he be both?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, he hits a clip.
Yeah, facts. and like, you know, you can maybe play that in somewhere down the road in Secret Wars where he is afraid to pull the trigger and Spider-Man has to do it.
Oh my gosh, you know how sick that'd be? He sees like a clone of Spider-Man and he can't do it because of oh, you're a genius. That'd be sick.
Something like that, you know, and you know, like the next two movies are really going to just open everything up to possibility. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to get recast. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I just to finish off Punisher, he pulled out a 50 cal and shot Spider-Man. What do you mean
Yeah.
he wasn't Punisher? Like, what are you talking
Facts.
about? That's
I'll
the most Punisher thing that would happen.
To the point that Jean Grey had to manually breathe for Spider-Man to
Yes.
keep him alive.
Like, what do you mean he's not Punisher enough? What?
That's as much Punisher as you get. I
I
mean,
know,
like
and
there was a puddle of blood under Spider-Man.
He's still, and the thing is like, I think of like his language. He was still dropping GDs everywhere. He's still being himself. It's like the farthest end of PG-13 as you can get.
The
Like,
F-bomb was coming out and Spider-Man like covers his mouth. It was very
Yes.
much on cue.
Yes, it is still. And speaking of that moment, I will say one of the more underrated moments, and I've seen it in some reels on like Instagram. Whenever Spider-Man pulls out that grenade launcher and he looks down, he pulls out another one and goes, that scene sent me.
Dumb.
We're 5 minutes in the movie and I died laughing. That is
Yeah.
such a funny moment.
And
And
he
it's just,
like-
again, of course Punisher would have a second. Of course he would.
Yeah, the nuances of it, like because he like webs the first one to the top of the car and then he just pulls the second one out immediately. Like it's just so good.
Yeah, and I just feel
I
like, sorry, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
Jean finally finds someone who understands her, and then it cuts to a clip of somebody in a Call of Duty montage, and it's Frank Castle's like scream over it. That was a meme I saw. Yeah, and it was just, I mean, just quick scopes like that. That was the Call of Duty clip. So sure, yes, he was very Punisher. However, I still don't think that he is as much as comedic relief as he is in this film. Is what I mean.
Oh yeah,
You know,
and
like he is being
yeah.
utilized as that.
you're
Whereas
very
some who
justified
are
for
like
that.
diehard Punisher fans are like, he would not have let Spider-Man in his home. And so I'm just trying to speak for them.
They're like
Another
soldiers. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Another thing that is just like I see a lot of people being upset that he could like maybe cry whenever like Peter at the end kind of, you know, comes back to life, but with how much trauma he has with family and loss, I just think that fits that character so well.
Well, yeah, to back that up, it's like when you go to war, they went through painstaking lengths to make you know that those two went to war together multiple times fighting other villains. How many times did they bring up Staten Island? I mean, like, the reason they bring that up is to say, hey, these two, they're not just frenemies. They're not just these oddball couple. Like, they have constantly worked together, regularly worked together. And so when you get to moments like that, him crying, it's like, if you ask any hardened soldier about one of the worst moments, they will say they cried. I don't understand why it's like the idea of like, you're not manly if you cry. Bro had the bravery to cry when he saw his brother go down. I don't understand why that's so hard for people to wrap their heads around. But before we get, because there's one last thing I want us to talk about this film, really, before we get into some interesting questions. The reason, something that in my mind is in the corner of this film again, because I've talked a lot about the negatives, but I want to sandwich it with another good aspect of the film, is I feel like every character was genuine to themselves, was genuine to who they are in the comics, who they've been in the previous MCU iterations, or like in terms of Jean Grey being a new character, again, true to the comics, but I like the new original take spin they've put on it. Like Rampaging Hulk, all it took was one scene of him growing bigger than we had seen him in 5 movies for us to remember how dangerous he actually is. Because he felt menacing for the first time in a long time in that movie, which was what that character needed in the worst possible way. Frank, as we just talked about at length, is still Frank. Spider-Man it's the perfect follow-up to No Way Home. Jean Grey, again, can she be redeemed? Who knows? But I felt like that was Jean Grey. I super bought into who she was and why she was doing it. And just every little character felt believable and real to themselves, which I think is a testament to the story that they were telling and what they were going for. But as all stories do, they come to an end. And this one has a very controversial ending. I'm not talking about post-credits just yet. Let's talk about some of the quick little things we saw at the end. First, MJ sits on their old rooftop twiddling the Black Dahlia. And then we saw Peter find Ned, some muscle memory with a good old handshake, with the final line of the movie being, Peter! And then it ends.
Yeah.
There's a theory There's a lot of theories, but one in particular, and I want you guys to share what you believe, is that Jean might have given them their memories back because those two were stuck in her force field. They were stuck in her reach of telepath, right? She went into Peter's mind, who would have had those memories, unlike when she was in MJ's mind and she's like, you were right. Like, there's nothing of you in here. When she got into Peter's brain, she would have seen them. Do we think she gave them back their memories? And if not, well, it could. If not, and I'll tell you why, what do we think it is?
Well, she did cry. MJ did cry. So I think there's something there, but I don't know if that's.
I've also heard something where it's like that's the one time that she got into Ned's brain, but like it was the second time she had been in MJ, so maybe it had unlocked more like subconscious thoughts in MJ's mind than Ned. But I think with Ned specifically, it could also just be the fact of him realizing that it's Peter, like where MJ said it earlier in the film.
I was leaning more that way. I know Ned to be pretty darn smart, and like you can click with somebody in an apartment like they were and know so much about each other, but having only met the first time and then learning that his name was Peter, and then I don't know. I think that can work. I think Ned is smart enough to put maybe 2 and 2 together and be like, oh, you know, and there could be something else there where maybe in a later movie they say something, but MJ drew the guy's face, you know, and they're roommates. So like there could be something there as well. I do want to say that I don't know if we got the full sad Peter Parker that we were hoping for. Mind you, does he even have a job? I've got pictures of his apartment right now. And there ain't no way a jobless guy affording this. I'll show y'all. Look at this.
It's a nice little apartment.
You kidding?
That's a nice apartment.
I mean, come on. As you get flashed with our faces. And then, dude, but this is what it looked like. Like, how is he affording 3D printers and, you know, this setup and an AI that basically does everything for him?
Does Spider-Man have the morality to steal?
He has the morality to use flock cameras.
I feel like with the Stark tech, I feel like that's left over from the suits. I think that you can, like, he recycled the Stark tech that was in his old, like, really high-end suits, and he was able to reconfigure that AI to make Evie. I can justify that.
I can't remember if Evie was his original AI or not.
I think it's new.
He didn't have Friday. I thought he had his own from when Tony gave him the suit. I don't remember what the name of that one was.
It's a different actor that plays the character, or that plays the bot in this one, so I think it's a different name. I don't remember what it was in Homecoming, but if you can find that, that'd be fantastic.
Edith was Far From Home. That was the glasses. Edith was the glasses. But...
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, I'm fine.
Dylan.
To be fair, honestly, he could have been left quite a bit of money between like the Tony stuff and then May as well.
This brought up an interesting conversation. I'm so happy you said this, because again, I talked about it with some friends of mine after we saw it. That would mean that there's some trace of Peter left. And then this brought up a conversation about how the spell worked. If he inherited anything, that meant that there's some government trace of him. Whereas, according to Strange, it would be like he didn't exist, which in theory would mean all of his government documents would go as well. Did it just impact memories? Because I thought it hit everything. I thought there was literally nothing in him. It was like he didn't exist.
I thought it hit photos.
Yeah, it did. Well, they show at the beginning of him like fading out of existence.
Which then it would hit databases.
If
it hit photos, it hit databases.
So
and then the Homecoming AI was Karen.
That's it. Yeah, it was Karen. So then that means that he couldn't have inherited anything. I just think he cannibalized all that old tech that he had on him physically. TJ, yeah, we have TJ. I'm gonna start wearing like Stark glasses every episode. Be like TJ, and clip that. But anyway,
I think these guys super gay.
But I don't know. I feel like going back to the original question of like, what do we think happened? I agree with you guys. I know it's the most boring example or boring explanation as to like what it was, but I think it's right. I think that MJ on the roof playing with the necklace, the Black Dahlia. I think that was her muscle memory. I think what we're seeing and what it was trying to prove there, and we've seen that a lot of them, because she wore that necklace the entire movie, and they didn't point it out. They still have the muscle memory, and they still go and do things that they did before they lost their memory of Peter, even if they don't know why. Hence the handshake. I think what they're trying to point at is that, like, somewhere deep in there, they do have these, again, muscle memories of Peter. I think MJ was just sitting on that roof because that's what she always did. I don't think she remembers where she got the Black Dahlia. I don't think she remembers why she goes to that roof, other than maybe her and Ned hang out there. But she's there, right? And maybe the tears was that she was stuck again. I'm not going to try to explain something before they explain it to me, because I could be way wrong. But I just don't. It would be too easy for them to be like, oh yeah, Jean put the memories back in. After all that hardship he went through, Jean was just like, I'll do you this favor, and just drops it back in their brains. I doubt that. I really doubt that.
Do we think that Spider-Man, this movie, was small potatoes?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Do we think that this wall was big potatoes?
I love the idea that Yelena is like,
God.
I'm too cool for school for Spider-Man. But wall
mind
is tough.
Mind you, Spider-Man could piece everybody in here but Sentry.
Fact.
Yeah.
This is Sentry and Friends, by the way.
Fact.
Yeah.
Bob.
The other thing is, though, like, the last time we saw him, he was 4 years younger. So, like, obviously a lot younger. Also, is this a plot hole? But on Aunt May's tombstone, it's 2024 is the date of death. And that would make it 2028 in the movie, which doesn't make sense to me. But
They didn't say the date in this movie, did they? They just said 24.
yeah, they just said it was 4 years later because they went to MIT and graduated.
It depends on the year, I guess, in the next installment. Then it would be a plot hole.
Guess that's
'Cause they
true,
did-
but regardless, he'd be like 22 now. So, like,
Yes.
what he's done before to her would be small potatoes because you did it when you were a kid. But now he's a little older and he's doing some other
Also,
stuff.
did they forget that he was a part of the Avengers as well as Spider-Man? Because this is where the spell is very convoluted to me, because it's like, okay, they forgot about Peter Parker, and Peter Parker literally disappeared from photography and from government databases and from the memories of people. But Peter Parker is also Spider-Man. So does that mean Spider-Man had to restart in the minds of all these people? Like, what happened there? Because then then I think that your point's even more poignant, because she probably didn't even know he was a part of the Avengers, because if the spell worked the way it was described, no one remembered.
And I think that's got to be right because, like, Ned and MJ remember Spider-Man. They remember being saved by Spider-Man multiple times through high school.
Yes.
But they don't know who it is.
So why does the spell only account to the Parker and not the Spider? Like that, I guess that's kind of.
I mean, I guess in No Way Home, which I watched it the other day too. When he has him cast a spell, he has Strange literally just make everybody forget that I'm Peter Parker.
Oh, is that the line? Then yeah, if that's verbatim, then okay, that adds some good kind of roadblocks and guardrails for where the spell would go. It's just interesting with, like, I wish there was a little bit more explanation, because I got into a heated debate about, like, because I was like, no, it's gone from government documents. That's why no one knows who he is. There is no trace of him. And the person I was arguing with thought it was the opposite, which I couldn't verify because there's no writing on it. There's no text. It's just like it's just infer. And I don't really like that. But anyway, let's talk about, so going back to this kind of the ending. I promised I would explain it earlier. The reason why people think that Jean Grey could have done the whole memory plant thing is because in Dark Phoenix, she did it a decade ago, which is the Fox. That is the Fox universe. But she did do that. When they ran into Wolverine, she gave him back memories that she said was, like, forgotten, like long lost, forgotten memories. And that is, apples to oranges. Logan forgot because of adamantium bullet or age, and they were never really gone. They were just not, they were still in there. Whereas this is literally magic wiping it away. So could that have been something? Yes. But I do agree. I think that, again, it would just be too simple, it'd be too easy, because I feel like a part of their story moving forward is Spider-Man and MJ re-falling in love again. I could just see that happening. But anyway, let's move on from this point because we got just a few more questions. How does this film stack up in its own franchise, right? So compared to Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, and then taking a broader look, the other iterations, how does it stack up first in its own franchise and then to the wider Spider-Man films as a whole?
Dylan.
For me, honestly, I'm really, really low on Far From Home. Just in the grand of MCU, just as a whole. Homecoming hits the notes pretty good, but it's okay. I honestly, I'd probably put it second, maybe third. I might put Homecoming over it, but obviously No Way Home's the best one. But I could see myself ending up putting this the second best in the Tom Holland Spider-Man. It doesn't really touch the Tobies to me. Like at least the first two. It's probably better than the third one. And the Garfields are probably in about the same contention.
Yeah. Jake?
I don't hold it as the highest, I guess, Spider-Man. No. It holds its own, but let's see, which I wasn't big on the Mysterio one. I think the first one was probably one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not first, but it could be third. Best Tom Holland, I guess I've seen. I can't even begin to say Garfield or Toby because they're all good. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, or both, and I think Tom lacks some things that Toby has and Garfield has, and I miss the banter that Garfield had as Spider-Man. I miss the sadness that Toby had as Peter Parker.
Now, I will say
in
this movie, the banter that he had was actually pretty good. It was the most like Garfield-esque like banter we've had since Amazing Spider-Man. So like the hold on, let me stretch. Are y'all into stretching stuff? Like that was all great. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Which is straight out of Garfield's book. He stretched.
I'm right there with y'all. I would say it's the third of the Hollands because I just don't think it gets better than I think Homecoming, just like everything I've said before, No Way Home is the best. But I feel like Homecoming was what we needed to reintroduce that character without doing an origin story. So for me, it's hard to beat that. But I don't think they're very far off. In fact, I'd probably call them 1A and 1B, right? Like they're like this. But if I had to put one, because of when that came out, I was a teenager. It was hype about a new Spider-Man. Like the memories of that. I will play the nostalgia card myself because of what it means to me. I'll put it second. And then I'll put very close this last one. And then followed by... I liked Far From Home, but I just don't think it's better than the other three. Not to say it's bad, but it's definitely the worst of the four. However, if you were to ask me in the larger continuity, it's not better than the first two Maguire, like you said. It's not better than the first Garfield. It's not better than either, because a lot of people also count the Spider-Verse films. So I would say it's not better.
You can't touch those.
No, I would say the Spider-Verse, specifically the first Spider-Verse, might be my second favorite Spider-Man film behind Spider-Man 2 with Tobey. Like it's that. Like that's how highly I regard the first Spider-Verse film. And the second was not far behind. But it's not better. I do think it is better than the second TASM. I do think it is better than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. But again, it's not by much, but I was never as high on the second. Like obviously Garfield killed it in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I was never as high as some people are retroactively for that film as others. But I would say like the only films that I would put above it are the two in its own franchise, the two Maguires, so that's 4, 1 Garfield, and then I would say it's 8th. I would probably put it like around that 8 mark. I think there's 11 films that they've come out with. And that sounds terrible, but when you think about how many great films there are in that franchise or in that just string of films in that IP, that's a great mark. Is the only reason you're that low is because they have that many films above you. So I really did like the film. It's exactly what we needed, but that doesn't mean it has to be like bad. But with that, the last thing
Are we ranking?
We are going to give it a rating, but I have one last, or actually, let's rate now because the last thing I'm going to say isn't as connected to the rating. We do, Dylan, I don't think you've heard us do this before. We do a combined rating. So we all together, all three of us will give a rating. We'll do the math, and that out of do we do 5 or 10? We changed it at 1 point. We do 5. We ran out of film reels because we're beyond the screen and our logo is a film reel. So out of 5 film reels, what would we justify giving this film? We'll start with.
And I need to go last because I have to make the graphic.
We'll start with Dylan.
I mean, like you were saying, it's probably 8th, 9th in Spider-Man world, but like, the last film in Spider-Man still like a 3-star movie. So I'm gonna give it a 4.
Oh wow. That's a lot
Mhm.
higher than what I would have thought with all the problems. But
Yeah,
see,
I mean like 3.5, 4, maybe a 3.5 is more than Mark, but
yeah.
We're gonna lock in. What are we locking in here, Dylan? Come on, man.
let's lock in the 3.5.
Okay.
He's brought me down.
So no, I don't change on
How
my
dare
account.
you?
Yeah, sorry. So I won't beat around the bush. I think it's a 3 out of 5. I think because of the problems that it had, if it would have committed to its own bits, it could have been a 4. But it's not one that like I look back and like when I finished No Way Home, I thought about that movie every second for the next week. This movie, while great, I didn't have that. It wasn't something that stuck with me. It's something that was a good movie. I would watch it again, just not for the next 6 months because I want to forget some of it. So I give it a 3 out of 5. It's that is a good movie, definitively a good movie. It had a lot of stuff working for it. A few things missed. I would watch again. So that gives 3 out of 5 and a 3.5 out of 5. That's right now 3.25. Jake, your review will help you with your graphics. So pick your. What do you give it out of 5?
I also gave it a 3 out of 5. Or yeah, so or
Round
three
it
and a
down
half,
to
I guess.
round it.
Yeah.
Or,
Well,
wait. Did you say
I gave it a
3.5?
3.5. I say a 3.5.
Round it up
Like,
3.5.
and so that's why I was like, oh, that makes it pretty darn easy.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 out of 5. Everybody's saying that, so I was like, well, that's the kind of movie it is. We're saying it's a good 70 out of 100. You can sit through it. Am I rewatching it? Maybe in the grand scheme of the Tom Holland, 4. But like you said, 8 out of 11 of the total. I think I'd rather watch the first Garfield, or even one of the fun Maguires, rather than I would watch either of those before I touch a Tom Holland film to begin with. If that makes sense.
I can get behind that too. And I think that shooting 7 out of 10 is fantastic. So like this is all things considered for this to be one of the like middle of the road to worst of the
People have
Spider-Man
gotten
films.
degrees with that.
Yeah, like that's insane. So, but with that, I did want, now that we've had our ratings, we've talked a little bit about like, hey, like this is what we think. There was something that I thought would be interesting to bring to the table as our final little bit before we get out of our main segment. There is a community on Instagram called The Good Films. Like they're just a film content platform that shoots out whatever. They asked their community to rank the Spider-Man films, and I want you guys to hear how they went. So number 11, they 11 to 1, worst to best. Okay, their number 11 was Homecoming. Straight out the gate,
Worst
worst
Spider-Man is Homecoming.
Their worst, according to this community. Now, I'm not saying the Good Films did this post because they asked and they received. This is their community explicitly. Number 10. Can we guess what number 10 would be?
Probably Toby 1 if going by this logic.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. I can give you that. That's wrong.
All right.
Far From Home.
That's it. Far From Home is at 10. 9 is Spider-Man 3.
That's fine.
This is a hot one. What do we think's at 8?
No.
Just
It's
shoot.
gonna
Just
be
shoot one
Spider-Man
guess.
2, isn't it?
He says Spider-Man 2. Jake, quickly.
Probably Garfield 1.
Into the Spider-Verse is 8.
They're actually counting that? Okay.
It's 7 across the Spider-Verse. The Spider-Verse films are 8th and 7th on this list from 11 to 1. 6th is The Amazing Spider-Man. 5th is the Maguire one, is just Spider-Man. 4th is No Way Home. Can we guess the 3, 2, 1? Do we have any idea?
We had any Garfields yet?
We've had one Garfield.
One. Okay, sorry.
We've had one Garfield, one Maguire.
Okay, it's probably a Garfield next.
We've already had No Way Home.
Yes.
So it has to be this movie.
Okay.
There's one of the 3.
Okay. That's the next one. Number 3 is Brand New Day.
Amazing Spider-Man 2
is number 2, which means Spider-Man 2 is number 1.
I mean, that's fine, but
I guess.
Amazing Spider-Man
2 at the second best. What are we
that's
talking
crazy.
about?
That's crazy. I mean, I'm higher on Amazing Spider-Man 2 than most, but that's crazy.
Wow.
Just the Spider-Verse. Let's not glaze over that. The Spider-Verse films being that low is criminal.
I know, and it just so the good films in their own post, they pin their own comment, and it's a gif of Tom Holland fading away in Infinity Wars, and it said me after this post because everyone in the comments is going off on these people. And again, people are like, the good films, you're so dumb. It reads explicitly the community ranking, so it's not the account. But
remind me never to hang out with the community.
yeah, like that is the epitome of awful community. I read that literally like 5 minutes before we were going to record, and I was like, I have to bring this to light. Our good friends at the Good Films, who has no idea who we are, we're highlighting their posts. Go follow them.
They will.
They'll know, maybe. But anyway, that's been our main news topic. We reviewed an officially 3.5 out of 5 stars for Brand New Day. Thank you for sticking with us this far. We're running over time just a little bit. Dylan, if this is it, we might see you in the next segment, but if we don't, it's been fantastic having you. And for our audience, you guys will have no idea whether he leaves or goes until he either disappears or sticks around. So we'll see. But if this is the end, thank you so much for being here, and it's been a blast.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And with that out of the way, Jake, we're going into segment 3, what you should know before you go. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Dylan's still here, which means I hope that means you're sticking around.
I saw him head bob, so he's
Let's
obviously
go!
in the song. Right?
That means you get extended guest time. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
that means more opinions for you guys at home who just love to hear us talk.
Oh, great. More opinions?
Oh, yes.
Came for news.
Another white guy with a beard. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
I wasn't going to say
I'm letting it
anything.
grow out too right now. Like it's...
Well, anyway, I always take this quick little tidbit before we get into our last segment to thank you guys for being here. As always, whether it's an hour to hour and a half, you stuck around this far and you're hearing the rest of what happened this past week. Everything following is stuff that was big, but not big enough to be our major news segment. 1 to 2 sentences and an opinion usually does it justice. But again, the fact that you're here and the fact that you spend every Monday night or whatever day of the week just means the most to us. You allow us to have fun. You allow us to be creative. And this is the highlight of my week every single week. I love coming to podcast Mondays. So thank you. We love you. And hopefully you'll stick around and come back next week. If you do like what you're listening to, like, subscribe, follow, comment, wherever you're listening, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, we're even on iHeartRadio, or right here on YouTube. Follow our socials, beyondthescreen.podcast, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you guys get your feeds. We'll be there. And with that out of the way, I'm getting off the box. Get that out of my face. I'm getting off the box. And now let's get into our first quick hit. We have more news from Marvel. Oh my gosh, just when you thought it was over, we're back. Samara Weaving has been cast as Emma Frost in the upcoming X-Men reboot. Marshala Ali says he's, quote, moved on from the Blade movie, stating via GQ magazine, quote, they didn't want to do it, excuse me. So they should answer that question. Talking about Marvel should answer that question. And reports indicate Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight will be returning for 2 upcoming projects. And lastly, from Marvel, Ryan Gosling's Ghost Rider is reported to appear in Avengers Secret Wars. Fellas, which one catches your eye the most? Which one gets you the most excited?
Well, we talked about Ghost Rider, but I feel like saying Ghost Rider is reported to appear in Secret Wars is going to be like how Lobo appeared in Supergirl.
I hope not.
I'm Lobo.
I hope not.
It's going to be Ryan Gosling on a motorcycle. He's going to show up, but he's just going to be quirky Gosling. He's just like,
it's the same. It's the same as Lobo. It's the same. He's just going to show up on a motorcycle, say who he is, and then leave. I'm Ghost Rider.
You know what they could do? Have you seen that it's a hilarious clip whenever the Fantastic Four are fighting Galactus in the old animated show, and he shows up like they're losing to Galactus so terribly, and then Ghost Rider shows up out of nowhere and is like, look at all these souls you've tormented, and opens a portal to hell, and Galactus literally goes, ah, and then that's how the episode ends. He just he like aura farms him, and then he goes away. I need Ryan Gosling to do that.
Went into aura debt. Jeez.
Dylan?
I don't know. I'm excited for Ghost Rider. I love Ghost Rider. I love the Nick Cage Ghost Riders. So it's just an enjoyable character for me. I even loved it in like the Shield show back in the day with the Phil Collins character and all that. So I think it could be good. And Ryan Gosling's a good actor. So
Most definitely. I have
Saddened about Blade.
of all of these that I'm super excited about, I've got one thing to say. It's Moon Knight. Give him back to me. I've been waiting for a follow-up. Dude, Moon Knight was one of the few shows that was actually fantastic, not named Daredevil or Punisher. Like, it genuinely was a great Marvel show, and I was shocked when they just did nothing with it after that. So I cannot wait for Oscar Isaacs to make his return as Moon Knight.
Random bullshit. Go.
Yeah, like he's such a perfect like opposite of Daredevil. Like I don't understand why we don't see him more often, but I cannot wait to see more Moon Knight. Moving on, guys, I have a really important question after this one. This is a rough one. We'll get through it quick. This past week, Hollywood actor and singer Jared Leto was the center point of a documentary titled Jared Leto, Hollywood's Darkest Secret, in which 10 women accused Leto of a certain type of misconduct that's very unforgivable, with 4 claiming the acts happened when they were teenagers between the years of 2002 to 2016. Leto, of course, has denied these claims. I don't want us to spend too long on this because we've known about him doing weird things for a very long time, okay? But I have one way to pose this. The curse might finally be over because the dude should never be cast in anything ever again. Your thoughts?
Yeah.
He definitely shouldn't be cast anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he shouldn't have been cast for the last decade anyway, but like.
Just out of sheer, like, the probability that your movie's going to flop.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
The curse.
Yeah. Leto shows up. And the thing is, the films that he's been in have most of them in the past 5, I guess, the 5 flops. 2 or 3 of them weren't bad. Like Tron Ares, not a bad movie. Apparently, the last He-Man movie was pretty good. But it's Leto, man. The curse is over because he's just from Hollywood, which he should be. He should rot.
Yeah. Hey, but he still has a singing career.
That should have stayed in 2005 anyway. Anywho, moving on. According to the New York Times, Barbie 2 could be in serious jeopardy at Warner Brothers. According to further reports, director Greta Gerwig and stars Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling are all prepared to return to their respective roles for a follow-up to the 2023 blockbuster that earned $1 billion, by the way. The only snag? Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav has refused to approve the deals, believing the pay raise for the creators are, quote, too generous.
Because he knows the movie's going to be, I think. How can a Barbie 2 work with the ending that they had?
It's Ken. You follow Ken for the most part. Ken's the main character.
Yes, didn't he stay in Barbie World?
I feel like he was the main character for a lot of the first movie.
Jesus.
I think that's what I'm not defending the idea of this, there shouldn't be a sequel, but I'm saying that's what they would do.
You're probably right. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, but I don't know what you do with the second movie.
That's all you can do is, I
don't want them to touch the Margot Robbie. I don't want them to do
perfect ending for her character.
Hey, don't bring that back. Like, yeah, if Ken's got a story to tell where did he have character development? Did he change?
Yeah.
He had some decent character development throughout because he had the dojo in the middle of the movie.
Yes, but he also I feel like his whole point was not just to be comedic relief, but he was also I don't need Barbie. I'm more than just Ken, the side
toxic male without a woman.
Right.
Just without having to worry about what Barbie thinks.
My legitimate only response when I read this was are we shocked? It's David Zaslav. He's literally the villain of Hollywood. Are we kidding? People are like, no, Barbie! And as soon as I read David Zaslav's name, it's of course he would be the one to stick a fork in the heart of fun. It's Zaslav. Yeah. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get off that. Moving on. Due to creative differences, Alien Romulus director Fede Alvarez has exited the planned sequel where he was set to produce during pre-production due to creative differences with creator Ridley Scott. Subsequently, conversations with Evil Dead Burn director Sebastian Vanacek have also collapsed, leaving the future of the franchise in limbo, with many originally assuming the sequel project was dead. That was until 20th Century Studios president Steve Asbell took to Twitter with a single-word response to the cancellation, saying, "Nope." In a quote tweet, all he said was "nope" about that story.
You gotta love the single word tweets.
Yeah, he's just like, mm-mm.
No, it's still happening.
Yeah. So from what I understand, from what I read from, I'm pretty sure it was Screen Rant, Alvarez was penning a sequel to Romulus. That sequel was going to include Michael Fassbender's David from Prometheus, of which Ridley Scott was like, no, I don't want you to use that character. And they apparently went back and forth, leading to Alvarez's exit. How do we feel about that?
I know nothing.
Oh, yeah. Jake's not a horror guy.
I'm not a big Alien person either, but it's like...
You guys heard it here first. He's not a big alien.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure?
Prove
I
it.
don't know.
My whole
Right?
take, like, I do love the Alien franchise. I survived through the weirdness that was Scott's 2010s trying to bring it back with the Alien versus Predators and Prometheus and whatnot. I cannot help but agree with Ridley on this one. Like, while I wanted to trust Fede Alvarez, I like Vanacek. He had, I think it was just called Arachnid or Infested. His breakout horror movie, which was just otherworldly creepy with the creepy crawlies. Like, it is scary. It capitalizes very well on arachnophobia. And then I didn't think Evil Dead Burn was as bad. It definitely leaned too heavy-handed into the horror and not the campiness that the Sam Raimi franchise is known for. But I think he's a fantastic director, and I think he would have been a great person to hand the reins off to for the sequel of Romulus, which brought the horror back to the Alien franchise. And I wanted to say that I trusted Alvarez and say, yes, after the success that Romulus was, I cannot wait to see this new, younger creative continue to take the reins of this franchise and move it forward, especially when he's talking about a potential collaboration with Trachtenberg over Predator to really do a great Alien versus Predator movie, which I think has all the potential. But hearing that he wants to bring back David, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't think that film flopped for a reason in my mind. It just wasn't a great story, and it added a lot of... It was convoluted. It added a lot of issues to that continuity, and I think it's best left in the dust. And that makes me sad that... I don't know what he was going to do, and it might have fixed all the continuity, and that might be why he's upset and leaving. But it is just rather unfortunate in terms of where the franchise is going. But I hope to see Romulus continue. I hope that they give it to another young, up-and-coming... Why not Curry Barker? Why not Kane Parsons? Like, give it to somebody who actually would go do another fresh take on it that would just bring audiences back into theaters for this franchise that is just so well-loved. But with that, we'll go ahead and move on. Sony has finally responded to their own fans about the ever-unpopular decision to cease operations of physical media. And they're doubling down. I don't know if you saw it. They're not backing down. In a statement, the company says, quote, "There are various reasons we made this decision. The biggest being that digitization of contents overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. So essentially everything we already knew, that's why." And then they just made a good hunk of $1 billion by releasing Spider-Man. So it's just going to get worse.
I'm inevitable.
Yeah.
Like, literally. Like, it continues.
Buy a disc burner.
Yeah.
Your hands on media. Make them yourself, I guess. That's where we're at.
I've seen this one guy who he's made his own like discs with like the Steam Deck, and so what he did was he would download discs or like games onto USB drives, and then he puts them in the what looks like just a case, and he's printed his own like PlayStation looking hardcover, but it's got Steam on the side instead of a console, and it looks sick. Like,
I've seen people like same idea, small SSDs, and putting actually computer games on them and actually saving space by not having it in their computer and actually treating it like a game cartridge. And you plug it in, and he's wrote a script to where when you plug it into the it's like an SSD hub, plug it in, it runs a script and immediately starts the game like a console would.
that's sick.
That's really nice.
That's one guy's, but the SSD prices nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do that with GTA 6.
No, if you can get the right size, you could totally do that. Like, if you just
can.
you'd have enough space for the
Hundreds of
save
dollars.
files. Yeah. But that's a great way to keep the physical media around. But that is such a roundabout and expensive way.
Yeah.
Whereas digitization, I like the Xbox way of doing it. At least what they've promised is like you get to keep the physical disc, but you download it once from the physical disc. So if something happens, you still have it. Like, you could still plug in
The key.
yes, but it's not like a one-time key. it is reusable, so you have it physical if you need it. Like say your Xbox dies and you need to buy another one, you don't have to buy another key like PlayStation ones. Like I think that that's probably the right way to marry digital versus physical, and in a way that gives you both. But yeah, I think I Am Inevitable is the right way to go about Sony, and unfortunately, they own Crunchyroll, which is not going to slow down. They own Spider-Man, which is not going to slow down, and they own PlayStation, with as much people want to complain, not going away. So we'll just have to live with it until something crazy happens. Moving on, Andy Muschietti has confirmed that the sequel season to Welcome to Derry will take place in 1935, with Derry itself resembling a graveyard, and that the kids central to the story, quote, don't have a suburban comforting life. Did either of you watch? I know, Jake, you didn't, but no? You're killing me. You guys are killing me because these horror franchises are so fun. They introduced spoilers. Are you guys going to ever watch it?
Maybe potentially. I'll end up catching it on like Dead Meat's YouTube channel because he does everything. But
this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say super deep about what happens, but they introduced a way for Pennywise to be immortal and to keep coming back for future iterations, but in a way that makes sense to his character and that is so original and so unique and so true to source that I literally broke my brain when they explained it. I was literally like, that's so cool. Like, it is one of those like loopholes of this immortal character that he can keep losing, but he keeps like they found the ultimate loophole that makes sense. It's not just a loophole that's like, well, that how does that work? It's perfect, and I cannot wait. Like, and there's so much I want to say, but I will not. I'll leave it there because it's still a newer piece of media, and I want my friends to go watch it. It's great, and I could not believe, following the movies, how well this series was ran and how like Andy Muschietti killed it. And so please go watch Welcome to Derry. It is actually unsettling, but it just does such a good job at expanding the lore of Pennywise. Again, I was totally ill prepared for how cool it was. But anyway, because I'm the only one who watched it, we're going to move on. We got two more here really quickly. Actually, no, this is part 1 and 2 of the same, I'll say. In a not stunning twist, Amazon MGM is reportedly also recasting Atreus in season 2 of the live-action God of War. According to reports, the company is now looking for a 14 to 17-year-old, again, according to their own casting and listings. There are also rumors that Dave Bautista is in discussion to play Kratos.
I'll play Atreus.
After many a fan cast.
I'll do it.
Is this
I shoot a bow.
Is this as disappointing as I feel? Just both accounts?
I mean, at least it's not Dwayne The Rock Johnson playing Kratos.
Can you imagine like he's fighting Thor, you know, in the inevitable boss battle that will be in that series, and Thor says something and Kratos just turns with the eyebrow with like he's got the whole tattoo. Oh my gosh, I'd die. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, but can you imagine the sneaking scenes where Dave's just like.
Yeah. He's literally just gonna be Drax. Like, I mean, it's just gonna be. You know why I'm really disappointed in this? It's not too obvious, but it's like you couldn't. There's no one else. Like, I like Dave Bautista. Don't get me wrong. Like, Dave Bautista can pull it off.
I was gonna say he'll probably do a good job. He's a pretty good actor. Like,
right. But it's just like Ryan Hurst was so perfect for it because he didn't his fame did not overshadow Kratos. Whereas I think Dave Bautista will have that effect where it's like,
people will come in with preconceived notions.
Yeah. Well, he was
Dave's
also
probably not going to be good.
A pro wrestler. Not just that. It's like, not going to be as good, but also it's like, I cannot wait to watch Kratos Bautista bomb Atreus because he did something wrong. Like, that's what it's going to be like. And I don't know. We talked about it before. I like Winston Duke if you're going to replace Ryan Hurst. But at this point, if you're going to recast everybody and reshoot all 4 episodes, why not just wait? Why not just wait for Ryan? What are we doing? Like, they're talking about we will be back to shooting in October. No, you won't. Not if you're just going to recast everybody. I don't know.
Well, what it sounds like, if they're looking for a 14 to 17-year-old, they're actually going to use the kid version for those 4 episodes.
Pull like a House of Dragon.
Maybe, but so from what I had read, that the teenager was for season 2, but you got to remember season 2 was supposed to be literally like they weren't supposed to stop filming from 1 to 2. Like they ordered both back to back. So I get that element, but again, it's just more sleaze. It's just more sleaze from the Bezos family. It's more sleaze from Amazon. It's just unfortunate because I feel like what they had was interesting. I don't care what people say about Ryan Hurst. At least he didn't overshadow the character.
Maybe he did because he got hurt.
Who now he did.
Right.
Any final thoughts on Kratos or any of the news we've covered from this jam-packed episode?
Impact.
It was jammed. All
You
right.
know what I want to leave the audience?
Again,
The
undoctored.
best scene in the movie.
Oh,
we didn't
for
even
real.
touch on Yelena, like hardly
No.
at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Even.
But that's how it, but one, her role was really little. And two,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how full the movie was. As
It
it
was
is.
very
potato.
small potato stuff.
Yes, yes. She was very small potatoes. The way we end every episode is we do a recommendation. I went last week. Jake, I could see the panic in your eyes. He was ill-prepared. It's his turn. But what I will do is I will leave the floor open to you both. If Jake can come up with one very quickly, his week for recommendation. If not, Dylan, you can steal and recommend the audience a watch for this upcoming week. And then, Jake, you'll have to go again next week.
They have mine, but I want Dylan to do it because he is the guest.
Okay.
All right. So I've recently been on a kick just trying to like finish watching older shows that I've previously not finished. So I'm going to recommend The Walking Dead because I just finished season 11, and actually season 11 like redeemed a lot of the show for me. Really enjoyed it, and I've started watching like the Daryl Dixon show since then and stuff, and I've enjoyed it pretty well too. So we're going to throw it a little farther back to The Walking Dead.
All right.
Another Jon Bernthal collection and
Absolutely.
dispersion of knowledge. Because
And
he tells
He's
people
definitely going to tell you stuff in that one.
He's got a lot to say in that show. Well, with that out of the way, thank you so much for joining us, Dylan. This has been an absolute blast to have you on the show. And just as I said before, you are one of like I would say 3 people that I would trust with the Spider-Man breakdown just because of how into that franchise you are, and your knowledge is absolutely fantastic today. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching. Again, like, subscribe, and we'll be back next week on Beyond the Screen. Bye-bye.